all of a sudden has a lot of competition for his place. Already had Leandro Trossard. Noni Madueke has come in, albeit is injured. Eberechi Eze can play out wide as well.
We're 10 minutes into this one. This is the first spell of possession that Atletico's had, just to take the air out of the ball here a bit.
Going all the way back to goalkeeper Oblak.
Good organization by Arsenal on this press here. Just kind of shading into areas. We'll see where the triggers are and who they want to press. They won't make it easy to build out.
There's Hansko, the new left back who joined from Feyenoord in the summer. Sorloth's trying to judge that bounce, but Saliba always marshalling it out of play.
And that's the play right there that a Sorloth is in the match for, right? The ball gets played forward. You're under a little bit of pressure. You want someone to be able to take that ball down. Saliba did a good job of getting his body in between Sorloth and the ball to run it out. But that's the type of play that Atleti needs Sorloth to just hold up the ball for a second so they can get involved here.
Open up here for Jurrien Timber. You saw there before this build-up the Arsenal sporting director Andrea Berta, who spent 12 years as the sporting director of Atletico. Only just joined the North London side back in March.
And we've seen this a lot from Mikel Arteta. We saw it for years with Pep Guardiola and Man City, the wingbacks no longer touching the sidelines, right? Just sometimes it takes far too long to get from side to side. These passes now are a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper.
Timber and towards the run there of Eze, but will go out for the throw. Not quite getting a long throw launched in as yet. Become a feature of the Arsenal play. So good over set pieces, trying to create those moments. Martinelli shoving the back there from Llorente, but nothing doing there for the referee, Davide Massa, the Italian, who's in charge of this one in the middle.
It seemed like a push at first sight here. Actually a little bit shocked that one wasn't called. We play on.
Hansko. And Koke. Turning back and playing there, Jose Maria Jimenez. Gyökeres is putting in that work. His teammate Mikel Merino put up for the press conference in the build-up to this one, and he said that the data, the running that Gyökeres does is to be believed. You see the amount of effort that he puts into the team. Obviously, the talk is about the lack of goal scoring. 9 without a goal for the big striker. So much talk around Arsenal for years. When were they going to sign a striker? They go for Gyökeres from Sporting, who has that tremendous goal-scoring record. And now here's Alvarez in possession for Atleti. Sorloth. And Llorente, who's come forward. You'll see him pop up all over and lift a crossing, which is an easy catch there for David Ryan.
Into your Gyökeres conversation, the thing that keeps you on the field if you're a striker and you're not scoring goals are all the things that you're talking about, right? The work rate off the ball, and I think that the sentiment is that he's finding himself in good spots, and eventually the goals will come from that. But of course, in the end, how do we all judge the number 9 position, right? It's by goals, but with this Arsenal side, they're so stacked, they get goals from different areas. And that's what they've had to live by here, and if he can start to score goals, they certainly become one of the favorites in this competition, if not already.
Arsenal with goals from 10 different players in the Premier League, more than any other player in England's top flight. Martinelli. Saliba. Saka. Diego Simeone saying la pelota, go for the ball. Saka's got it back, and the block in from Jimenez. Eze somehow keeping it through all that traffic. Lewis Skelly hoping for that back post runner, but Saka couldn't quite get to it.
Boy, Arsenal's done a really good job of isolating Saka here against Hansko, and it's with Timber coming inside, and here's a give and go that Hansko can't deal with, and it's complete mayhem. Look at the numbers in the box. There's your other outside back, Miles Lewis-Skelly, with an opportunity. A lot of numbers thrown forward here for Arsenal, but it's starting on the right-hand side, just isolating 1v1 Saka against Hansko. Atleti and Cholo Simeone are going to have to figure something out.
Giuliano Simeone has got the right side of Lewis-Skelly and can get running. Simeone in towards the run of Nico Gonzalez, but it was behind him. That service now is required. He did so well to get into that position.
Well, I think the fact that Nico Gonzalez was behind the defender, he was waiting for him to check his run up, and that's what he was looking. He was never going to find him with that ball that gets in front of the defender. He was marked. So miscommunication by those two. Good opportunity for Atleti.
Koke losing out, and now Saka shaped in towards Martinelli. The challenge from the other side. The offside flag going up against Martinelli. Might have been a foul otherwise. Giuliano Simeone with another tremendous run down that right side. Always a question of, is it a situation of it being the coach's son, but he is very much a talent that is emerging. Diego says, I don't see a son, I see a footballer. And he's earned his way into the starting 11 of this Atleti side. Barrios combining neatly there with Alvarez. Nico Gonzalez trying to flick it on, but well kept here by Pablo Barrios. Simeone gave it away. Lewis-Skelly well positioned, and now Declan Rice can clear lines. Gyökeres well taken down there for Eza. So effortlessly glides on the ball there. Eza, free kick.
But we're just talking about all those little things, right? Gyökeres, ball played into him, good flick onto Eze, who now is able to face forward. You turn and you run. Again, it's one of those little things. Doesn't equal a goal here, but gets you in the build-up to this attack. Eventual foul here drawn by Eze.
Zubimendi.
Well, look where Lewis-Skelly is in the middle of the field. Then you see now, when you start seeing players point and look at each other, Simeone's looking back at Llorente. He's looking back at Jimenez. Is someone going to step up? Is Barrios going to come over and play? They're really unbalancing the midfield.
It just looks like a bog standard 4-4-2 at times, but look at moving all over.
Yeah, look at Miles Lewis-Skelly's position right now. He's essentially a 6, right? Now you got to deal with him. And you throw another number in the midfield. Now who do you see? Declan Rice on the other side, really no one around him.
Nice return there from Saka for Timber. In towards Eza, who gets the first touch and the second. Timber trying to get back to it, but Simeone able to manipulate the ball in that tight area. And Sorloth can release. Ball controlled there by the big Norwegian striker. And Barrios clipped, free kick.
And back to the Miles Lewis-Skelly. Remember, coming through the youth academy, playing in the center of the midfield, right? So he feels comfortable there, and what it does is just completely unbalance you. Barrios drawing a free kick here just to slow things down for Atleti.
We've done a fair bit of defending. Gave up that double chance. Saw Eza hit the bar from a deflection and Declan Rice go over. We've largely kept the game in check. Drawn a lot of games, Atletico, this season, particularly away from home against sides in the bottom half of the table in La Liga. This is a different thing, though, when you go away and are the underdog, can defend for long periods. This does seem to be a spot that Simeone is more comfortable in. Eza spotting the run of Saka, well found. Saka ahead of Oblak, who got a piece of it. Sharp goalkeeping there from Jan Oblak. Deny Saka.
I feel like I sound like a broken record here, but they're going to have to figure out because Saka, because he's just running wild right now on this right-hand side of the field. Oblak has to come up and keep himself big and make a big save, but that's far too easy a ball to split this back line here. And Saka just peeling to the outside and running in behind, and now all of a sudden you're headed backwards. Oblak coming up big here. Hansko's got to be begging for some help in the central part of the field. Nice job by Oblak just to stay big here. Kind of looks like he twists up, and underneath him his leg there.
He's still new into the team, David Hansko, but you saw there in that moment, Saka makes the run behind him, and he's almost 2 steps ahead of everyone else in the defense.
And you're waiting for your center backs, right? You don't want to be so stretched. You're waiting for Jimenez to come over. Norman is on the other side of the field, but there's got to be communication to help out. And it's clear where they're trying to go right now.
Hearing a lot of shouting from the Atletico technical area from Simeone. Timber.
You see Koke there, the captain, just kind of throwing his arms up to the sideline and just talking about organization in the middle of the field.
Now Nico Gonzalez can get turned. Just carries it to nowhere, really. Might have been trying to find a pass towards Hansko, but runs it out of play.
Yeah, frustrating 20 minutes here for Nico Gonzalez. Guy that likes to have the ball at his feet. Dribble at players, very good passer of the ball. He's done nothing but defend.
Snapping in there, Gonzalez to try and win it back for Atletico. And now Atletico pressing. Rather straightforward, though, to play through them. Goes back to Raya. Well lifted forward. Eza to flick on. Atletico putting out the fire. Header back there from Barrios. Some pressure now for Koke. Just trying to keep it for a bit here. The visitors. Both of these sides entering in form. Arsenal having won 5 consecutive matches. Atleti with 4 wins and 5. They did not start the season particularly well. Just 1 win from their first 6. We're all down the bottom of the table now. Back into 4th in La Liga. Hansko. Well controlled here by Nico Gonzalez, who will turn and get crossed, but wasn't well caught there towards Simeone.
But certainly the best build-up for Atleti we've seen so far in this match. Touchline to touchline, back to the goalkeeper. They break the press, they get forward, they get across in the box. Just starting to settle into it here a bit.
Survived to this point at 0-0. Barrios left too much of it there for Saka, who can get running. Gyökeres is making the run in the middle, but couldn't quite be found, and Atletico not made to pay for their mistake. Recovering well. Really the big question for Atletico beyond progression in the Champions League. We're incredibly unlucky to go out to Real Madrid. That man, Julian Alvarez, with that double touch on the penalty as Sorloth sends that low cross in. But goal scoring was the big issue for Atletico last season. You look at their position in La Liga. Scored 68 goals. The eventual champion scored 102, Barcelona. How do they hit those heights and get up to that level? Try to do it in the form of signings.
Yeah, and we had a week with Atleti, right, where we thought, yeah, they're going to score some goals this year. The derby, the Frankfurt match, and then it's kind of gone the other way for a couple of games.
Sorloth on the turn, low cross, and awkward there. Lewis Skelly able to clear to safety.
We'll say once Atleti's gotten into the final third of the field, the few times that they have today, it hasn't been poor. It's been pretty good. They've gotten opportunities, they've gotten crosses, but we talked about how stingy this Arsenal defense has been the entire season. They've been able to deal with everything.
Going all the way back to Oblak and then hitting that long ball. Lenormand. And Barrios. Trying to open the game up and finding Nico Gonzalez, but unable to really control it. Gonzalez, who joined right at the end of the transfer window, as Raya has to let it go, and Simeone plays. Raya is way off his line and pokes it to safety. Wants to go quickly from the throw. Alvarez trying to catch him out, and he almost did. Just flashing wide. David Raya nearly causing himself a massive problem there.
Yeah, and this just comes from really good work by Giuliano Simeone in the corner here. David Raya thinks this one is going to run out. Probably would have been better off pushing it off the boards and then catching it again. But a quick throw in, and the opportunity here just goes wide by Julian Alvarez. He's got sights on goal, and boy, Chris doesn't miss by much. He needed a little bit of a bend on it, and almost out of nothing, Cholo Simeone's side had an opportunity to go up.
Well controlled there from Saka. And now Gyökeres. Able to find the release there with Timber. Raya was a real debating point when he arrived from Brentford, replacing Aaron Ramsdale, who was well liked. But Arteta wanted something more, something different, but has very much quieted those conversations. 6 clean sheets in last year's Champions League, is 7 more clean sheets than any other goalkeeper in the Premier League since joining Arsenal. That debate is no longer. Lewis Skelly in towards Declan Rice, who just lifts towards Gyökeres. Header one there from Jimenez. Only as far though as Martinelli. And now Timber does want to cut inside. Jurriën Timber with a tame effort.
Again, Jurriën Timber on that top of the box in this inside channel here, just cutting inside on Nico Gonzalez. Just through Jimenez's legs, and an easy play for All Black, but the wide players for Arsenal, as we see week in and week out, getting forward with relative ease so far tonight.
Barrios thought about going quickly, instead settles with Simeone. Now Alvarez, who's floated all over, now hits that early ball towards Sorloth, but well overhit.
Alvarez looking for Sorloth, as you mentioned, but only one runner in the box. Has to be inch perfect. Just overcooks it a bit.
Alvarez, the top goal scorer for Atleti last season, and already this season 7 goals in all competitions, early stages. Joined for 104 million from Manchester City. Be that next great attacker for Atletico, follow in the tradition of Antoine Griezmann. Timber in towards Gyökeres, who has to ride the challenge of 1, but now exits the area. Timber. Martinelli. Whipping that cross in, thumping header away from Lenormand.
Well, look how deep Atleti is here when the ball goes wide.
Alvarez playing the bounce and wants to get running here at Gabriel. Is all alone though. Here goes Julian Alvarez now, drawing the attention of 2, trying to get beyond him. Alvarez turning, can still keep it. Edge of the area, arriving is Pablo Barrios, who declined the shot and plays with Simeone. Here's Giuliano. Lifting it, crossing, Gonzalez, the header down towards Sorloth, but will come kindly there for Raya.
Well, Alvarez did a really good job of holding up the ball once he realized he couldn't shoot with his left foot, and he lays it back to Barrios, and I'm thinking he's coming into the screen and just going to lay the hammer on it. Here he is, 1 against 4 in the back. He does a good job here, recognizes he doesn't have a shot, recovers, and here's where I thought Barrios was just going to get through it. I'm not quite sure why he didn't take the opportunity, saw a better option, but I'm sure when he looks back on it, he's going to tell himself he needs to have a go from the top of the box.
Saliba. Pablo Barrios will rue not having a hit there. It's a lovely switch of play out towards Martinelli. Lewis Skelly Whips in a good ball. Gyökeres goes down. Appeals come, but nothing there from the referee. Sorloth with a touch. Slice forward, but Zubimendi gets to his first. It's advantage rather awarded.
Well done by Zubimendi.
Saka. And Timber going towards the outside and chipping a good ball in towards Gyökeres. Lenormand won the header and it lands on the roof of the net.
What a tantalizing ball going in the box here and kind of pins Oblak to the line. As you see here, he kind of gets stuck in two minds. It's got enough air to come out, but you see him just kind of take that awkward step. And now he's got to sit on his line and depend on Lenormand to make a play. You almost feel like it's coming now for Arsenal. If they can just deal with the counterattack, they've got enough going forward here to create chances. Although they've really only tested Oblak one time, but we know how deadly, as we talked about in the open, they are in restarts.
And here's that earlier delivery in towards Gyökeres, and the half-hearted appeals there for a penalty. Not really going to happen there. And now another player down. This time it's Lewis Skelly involved there with Giuliano Simeone. He was born in Rome while his father was playing for Lazio. A surge of noise through the Emirates. And again getting stuck in there, Giuliano with Lewis Skelly. So threatening over corners, this Arsenal side. Scored another one from a corner at the weekend. Here's Saka into the near post. The flick on was there for Gyökeres, but comes out for Zubimendi. And well dealt with there from Atletico. I guess if there is to be a challenger to Arsenal's supremacy over corners, it is Atleti.
Yeah, Chris, just a note here. I don't like the matchup for Atleti with Nico Gonzalez against Gabriel in that back post. So let's continue to watch that matchup as restarts happen here. There's a clear height advantage, as Gabriel has oftentimes on the weekend, but I don't like that matchup for Atleti.
Yeah, Gabriel has scored 18 Premier League goals since signing for Arsenal, more than any other center back in that time. Imperious on corners and over set pieces. Timber. Timber deliberate. Saliba. And again trying to slide that ball towards Saka. This time Hansko had it read. Better from the Atleti left back, who had a rough start to the game.
I think for Nico Gonzalez, you got to cut that inside channel out when Timber has the ball. Don't allow him to play it there. If he's going to play it, have him play it wide and go down and double down and help Hansko. He does a good job of picking this one off.
Well read there from the Argentine, who gets running. Here is Nico Gonzalez. Alvarez, well kept there, going beyond Declan Rice initially, but Zubimendi is there to win it back. The fans want their side to go quickly. Saka in towards Gyökeres, trying to get the beating there of Jimenez, and the referee is going to give a free kick and a yellow card to Jose Maria Jimenez.
Well, Gyökeres, we talked about the lack of goal scoring here, and certainly he wants to get that right, but he's done everything else right tonight, especially in hold-up play. This time, getting down the right channel, pushing it around Jimenez, and draws the foul in and around a dangerous area. Well, of course, this Arsenal side, everything's dangerous on restarts. But Gyökeres, without a goal tonight, has been pretty good so far.
And the referee, Davide Massa, with a word there. $73 million, the price tag from Sporting Club de Portugal.
Was a tough one here for Oblak to deal with. You never know where to set up the line. It's going to be somewhere right around the top of the box. There's always that space in front of the first defender here. It'll be a two-man wall. You always want to just clear that first defender if you're Saka. It's also an opportunity to have everyone run and peel someone off in and around the penalty spot for a ball played along the ground. Simeone's there. You can see him in that line defending that part of the play.
And now the whistle goes for this free kick to be taken. A lot of contact in that penalty area, and again the referee Massa will stop it.
So Jimenez is trying to push Luis Skelly into an offside position. That's what he's trying to do here. But of course, when it becomes a wrestling match, the referee is going to intervene.
So much goes into these set pieces. It's short from Saka and chipped in from Zubimendi. And nodded away there. Well defended from Lenormand. Llorente trying to start the break, and Giuliano Simeone with tons of room to run into, but Raya almost on the halfway line, lifting to safety.
What an incredible read there by David Raya. That free kick certainly didn't come off the way Arsenal wanted it, and if you're going to play it out the top of the box, the one thing that comes to mind here, put Declan Rice at the top of the box. We've seen him, of course. Who could forget against Real Madrid last year? Not once, but twice from that distance. I know a different situation. It was a dead ball there, but we know it can hammer it from that distance.
Gonzalez dispossessed and cleanly by Zubimendi. Forward to find Saka. Bukayo Saka, and it's tapped in. Martinelli, though, is offside. Denied his third goal in this Champions League. Just went a bit too early, the Brazilian.
He's had one in the first 2 match days. This one here, it'll frustrate the manager because you are looking across the line. Poor giveaway here by Gonzalez. Zubimendi, a nice job. Saka just getting, yeah, it looks just a hair offside there. Just a bit too anxious as Saka goes around Jimenez. Absolutely the right call by the assistant referee. You can see how quickly this Arsenal side can get at you when you pull the ball, turn it over in a bad spot. Saka's having his way with no matter what defender he's going against today.
Jimenez. The threat is there that the suit jacket might come off for Simeone. It is a chillier evening, but Diego Simeone won't care. Sorlots. Barrios dispossessed. It's a foul. Zubimendi has been plenty aggressive in that midfield.
He took the words out of my mouth here, Chris. He's been all over the midfield here. Just pressure on every ball that gets played in. This one a little bit too late. A clear foul, but you can see he's around everything. Really good reads in the midfield.
And another challenge, another free kick here against Zubimendi. And it is a yellow card shown as well to Martin Zubimendi, which will actually see him suspended for their next Champions League match, having already picked up 3 yellow cards in the competition.
Yeah, talking about his ability to get in and around the ball this game here. Nico Gonzalez does a good job of just getting his body between Zubimendi and the ball, shielding him. Zubimendi a little bit too anxious. A little bit of frustration there by Zubimendi. It's not a lot in the foul, but the fact that there's grass in behind for Nico Gonzalez to run into, I think that's why the referee's forced to dish out a yellow card there.
Free kick taken short. Alvarez will whip in at pace, and it comes all the way through. Giuliano Simeone trying to play the second time. Lifting away there was Gyökeres. Eza, and Saka can now fully clear lines. All taken down there by Martinelli, and that ball to the sky.
Skill check there by Martinelli. Well done.
You're a look at the technology at the offside decision.
Yep, just it's almost the whole body right in front of the ball. Again, you're looking across the goal. You also have the visual of the line, right? As a manager, you're hoping that you read all those cues and stay on side. But of course, you can imagine how tempting it is to run into that area.
Gabriel approaching the final 5 minutes of this first half here in the Champions League. Arsenal hoping to maintain their perfect record here on match day 3. Having already beaten Atletico of Spain and Olympiacos on match day 2. As Rice slips and gives away a goal kick.
You know, Eze and Rice have been really sort of quiet so far. It's been very right-sided, if you will, for this Arsenal side. For obvious reasons we've been talking about. Can they balance the field? Maybe get Martinelli 1v1 against Marcos Llorente on that right-hand side. You talked about that early in the match. And can you get Rice and Eze, who was active early in the match, really hasn't been all that involved over the last 15 minutes or so. But again, when you're getting that point, Chris, when you're in a match and you're just beating up a team on one side of the field or in one area of the field, oof, tough one here.
Strong challenge there from Chiesa and Gonzalez. That looked like head-to-head contact there. I think the referee more stopping play to tend to Gonzalez rather than adjudicate discipline here for Eze.
Yeah, I think you're right here, and it's a tough one. I wonder what the referee decides to do here.
It's just a drop ball. Lenormand. And Simeone couldn't control. Ooh, Skelly really with no one in close proximity to take this throw. Launching in towards Gyökeres, who will let it run. Ahead of Lenormand, put the challenge in.
Again, this looks like innocuous here, right? But it's Gyökeres holding up the ball, earning a throw in deep in Atleti's area here. And we know, again, we keep talking about how dangerous they are on these restarts.
And away end making a great noise in support of the Spanish side. Well, we have the long throw here from Luis Skelly. Launched in. Simeone is going to win the header. Rice, though, the second. He did go over the back of the defender there. Alvarez to try and get there. Free kick the way of Atleti.
It's amazing. You've gotten throw-ins from wide areas, and the stadium almost stops as we see the foul here from Declan Rice. The absolute right call here, but almost stops as if you're taking a penalty kick, right? You're waiting to see what's next from Arsenal, what they've got drawn up. This one just a simple throw in the box that Simeone dealt with pretty well.
There's almost anticipation now for set pieces and long throws.
Yeah, no doubt.
Arsenal so often prided themselves on being great from open play and having brilliant creativity, which they still do have in the side, but they have found other ways to score goals.
And we've talked about it for years, how important restarts are in games, right? You see, it doesn't matter what competition, whether it's a league play all the way up to World Cup, Champions League, it doesn't matter, right? That they become really, really important. How many games are won and lost in these areas of the field? This is a version here for Atleti.
Gabriel won the header and Saka lifting away. Both slid forward and kept advantage awarded. Alvarez will play as Lenormand was fouled, and now the free kick will come. Alvarez took his time, and I think Atleti preferred the set piece.
Yeah, I think they were waiting for the initial whistle here. As Rice again just a little bit too anxious, but with Julian Alvarez looking up, the referee Davide Massa is just waiting a second here. Call this about 30 yards out.
The final minute of this first half. Might have expected it would be 0-0 at this point. Two sides priding themselves on their defensive identity.
Looks like a push here to Koke maybe, and a chip in. I don't know, does Alvarez go for it?
Alvarez will strike towards goal, and going to take something perfect in order to beat Raya from that sort of range.
Long distance out. With two men in the wall, though, you can see what he's trying to do.
There were some unflattering adjectives to describe the football we might see today. I think it's probably been better than that.
Yeah, it's been a real good intensity from both sides.
And Saka appealing there, feeling he was hitting his right ankle. Writhing on the ground there with just the 1 minute added at the end of the first half. But you hear the noise coming from that pitch side microphone.
Looks like the referee is going to give a foul here. Kicks underneath the foot, Jimenez does. Is it fair to say, Chris, for you, that Arsenal's been the more attractive of the two sides?
Yes.
But Atleti has been.
You hear the noise coming from that pitch side microphone.
Looks like the referee is going to give a foul here. Kicks underneath the foot, Jimenez does. Is it fair to say, Chris, for you, that Arsenal's been and they've been sloppy?
Long throw this time from Declan Rice, propelled in, headed away. Luis Skelly and Llorente able to play out towards Pablo Barrios. And Atleti will be more than fine getting to the halftime interval at 0-0. Oblak just poking away to safety. Maybe time for one more long throw. They go quickly though. Rice can lift the ball in. Instead played back for Zubimendi, will cross. The header is up for Martinelli. Couldn't direct the header in what is probably the last involvement in this first half.
Yeah, super opportunity here for Arsenal. Again, this all starts by one person. Gyökeres pressuring Oblak. The ball goes wide, and now you get this opportunity, which Martinelli probably, it's a little bit behind him, but goes off his shoulder here.
And there is the halftime whistle. Perhaps the score we might have expected, but a plenty competitive game in North London. Eberechi has perhaps the best chance of the first half of this effort, deflecting onto the bar. Declan Rice volleying over. Your score at the break: Arsenal 0, Atletico 0. Kate, Jamie, Thierry, and Clint Dempsey with their reactions in the halftime studio. Coming up next.
This match is brought to you by PlayStation. And Heineken, UEFA Champions League official partners. This match is brought to you by PlayStation.
Pressing midfield has been good. They've had everything but just that final touch, and that's what they did in the second half.
Yeah, everything but the goal. And Simeone, of course, has a couple of options in Griezmann or Raspadori if he wants to change things up
Yeah,
front.
they could change it, but I think they'll go more defensive. I think Arsenal are too dominant in this game.
Well, there we go. We just need a goal here, and this man will leave happy.
By this man, she meant Micah, not Diego Simeone, who we are looking at there. Thierry, what are your thoughts on how this second half could play out for Arsenal?
You know what? I will agree with Micah to a point that Arsenal started well, but then in the last 20 minutes they were struggling to find ways to beat the back line and the block of Atletico. So yes, an early goal from Arsenal, you know, will make me happy also, not only Micah.
Jamie, what can Simeone do?
I think just do what they're doing. They've made it difficult for Arsenal. I mean, listen, I think Arsenal are a better team. Atletico Madrid, so they've gone away from home here. They've kept it 0-0 till half-time, and they're just hoping for that little bit of quality that on the break that we've saw little glimpses of, really, from Alvarez. He had a free kick and a couple of little bits around the edge of the box.
OK, so with that, we're going to send you back to your commentators for the second half of action between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid, Chris Brittingham and Tony Meola.
Thank you, Kate, as we get ready for the second 45 minutes from the Arsenal Stadium, as is known during European competitions. Goalless at the break between Arsenal and Atletico here on match day 3. A few moments, we were kind of reliving all of them, Tony, were we at halftime that chance Alvarez had to take advantage of the miss and the ball that went off the bar from Eza. Little chances here and there. It's fine margins in this game.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it always is in this competition.
Alvarez with a chance to drive now in the area and turn ahead of 2. Can still keep. Poke back towards Barrios and poked away from Eza.
You know, and Thierry touched on it right at the end of the halftime show there. First 20 minutes, it was all Arsenal, and then they couldn't break down this Atleti block. Gyökeres here, hold up play again, drawing another foul.
Martinelli going down the other end for Arsenal. No changes at half for either side. Well recovered though from Koke in midfield. He's playing a fair bit this season, Koke, in the middle of the park after the departure of Rodrigo de Paul. Replaced by the American Johnny Cardoso, who's been dealing with an injury for almost a month now. So Koke, who it was largely talked about he would be leaving the club at the end of this season, all of a sudden has become essential once again in the center of the park for Atletico, as Saka goes again beyond Hansko, and still Saka with the block in there from Koke. You can see there, he gets surrounded by 4 immediately in those sorts of tight moments, as Timber has it back. Arm up there towards Hansko, we play on, still Timber will go. Timber getting beyond Koke, but has the help there of Jimenez.
You know, Hansko calling for a foul here, I get it, right? He makes the first reaction, he doesn't get it, and then he kind of jogs back, and Jurgen Timber, watch the reaction here. There might be a hand to the face, but it's not called. He goes down, and then now he kind of just jogs back. I mean, his legs aren't hurting at that point, right? You've got to get back, and you've got to try and make a play, and Saka just continues with the play.
Sort of that half appeal, half running, that doesn't really serve anyone. Other player down, Saka delivers. Thumped away there from Sorloth. Second phase, back out wide from Zubimendi. William Saliba returning towards Saka, great idea, but just about there was Alvarez in time. And Sorloth can emerge towards safety. Free kick awarded to Atletico.
Yeah, you saw the tug on the jersey there as Sorloth was just holding up the ball. But Julian Alvarez, right, making a defensive play, tracking back, building out. His manager will be happy with that. Atleti has kept Arsenal quiet on these restarts. They've done a really nice job.
Will be so much of the emphasis in the build-up to games against Arsenal, how good they are over long throws and free kicks and corners. Martinelli spotted there Declan Rice, who might have been in an offside position. Atletico Madrid dealing with that problem. First ever meeting in the Champions League between Atletico and Arsenal. You would have expected, with both of these sides' pedigree and Europe's top competition. They would have faced each other before, but have only played each other in the Europa League, the semi-final in 2018, the competition that Atleti went on to win. Alvarez getting inside and taking the strike out off the bar. That is some strike there from Julian Alvarez, who loves to go from long distance, and only the woodwork denying.
Well, back to my conversation with you earlier, just before the break, about Atletico not being nearly as pretty to watch, but there's been opportunities for them. Julian Alvarez, remember the open goal that he just pushed wide, and this one an opportunity at the top of the box. We had Raya beat there.
Now a free kick coming in this wide area, and it's Alvarez who will fancy it. Simeone has talked about how much he marvels at Alvarez's ability to strike. She does here low, and it was actually a touch in there from Hansko, went across the defender. It was appealing there for either a corner or a penalty, but neither forthcoming.
Well, last minute or two to get the Atleti fans going.
So Alvarez to strike there from long range. He has 13 goals in his last 18 games in the Champions League from only 5.4 expected goals in that time, which illustrates a player scoring from unlikely scenarios, longer distances, around tight defense. And he still manages to get some brilliant strikes away, as we saw there.
You and I were talking at the break about getting Eze a little bit more involved, right, in this match, and he's sitting in that pocket there. It's been really crowded from an Atleti standpoint.
Rice it towards Gyökeres. Saka. How do you find space at all? Gyökeres with a deflection. Half-hearted appeals there for handball. The arm is down there in the judgment of the referee. Jose Maria Jimenez appealing the same.
Yeah, see the arms here at the body. Oh, just have that right arm up. It is tucked in the frame of the body, but there was an assistant referee that had a really good look that was probably communicating with Davide Massa there.
Alvarez trying to get beyond Gabriel. Still Alvarez keeps that significant size disadvantage. Back on side and playing with Simeone. Needs a window, slides it in towards the run there of Koke, who goes down. Did Luis Skelly get the slightest bit of touches? He might have, but not enough for a penalty there in the judgment of the referee.
And not much of a complaint here from the captain. Koke will get a pretty good view here. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Maybe some knees are knocking there, but Skelly's got to be careful as Koke anticipating here. I think he's just stumbling with his own step on the reach, and he never really got up and appealed for a penalty kick.
Timber. Luis Skelly. Deliberate possession, as we saw a fair bit from Arsenal in the first half. Out of a well-drilled Atleti shape. Going to find a way around and through Martinelli. Going running here at Giuliano Simeone. Fighting the challenge and manages to keep. Gabriel. And Zubimendi poking in behind. Gyökeres' touch into the chest of Oblak. Did so well just to get a piece of it. Couldn't quite stick it beyond Oblak.
Yeah, great anticipation by Jan Oblak here to come out and make himself big, and a good run in behind, good recognition on the flick.
Zubimendi returning, Martinelli getting inside of Llorente. Challenge well won there from Lenormand. Just enough contact there to slow down and unbalance the run there of Martinelli. But Arsenal carrying threat. Rice. And Martinelli is playing with real confidence. Simeone getting a piece of that one. The Arsenal substitutes being put through their paces on this near side. Quite a few threats that can come on. And Lewis Skelly will try to drive the ball, get some grip on it. Martinelli, potential long throw here. Rice. Powerful ball in there as Rice wins the header. Lewis Skelly. There's some contact there, but nothing in it for the referee. There's that sweet little ball behind there from Zubimendi.
Exactly what he wanted to do, that first touch. He's just hoping that Gyökeres makes the run, and he does, and he's just stretching to try and push it past the Oblak, who made a really good read on the play. Came out really quickly, made himself big, and made the play. Takes a lot of coordination between Zubimendi and Gyökeres.
Nearly a loose touch there from Barrios. Has managed to keep it, popped around the corner, but given away by Gonzalez. Martinelli. Going in there was Barrios. He goes barging in there to Llorente, and it's a free kick. Llorente felt he was hit there rather than delivering the hit.
This is a weird one. I'm with you here, because it looks like Martinelli's going for the spin. Llorente's trying to get in his lane here, and watch him spin and get his body right into him here. Maybe this is a better angle here, but look, Martinelli knows exactly what he's doing here. Llorente's probably reading the play before the spin happens and trying to jump in that lane. I think the referee eventually gets it right, but that second look there showed that Martinelli knew what he was trying to do and draw this foul. This is a high line here from Atleti. There's a lot of space in and around that penalty spot.
Rice lifting a good ball in. Gabriel! One of the biggest threats from set pieces in the world. There is no stopping Gabriel. In the air, Arsenal the breakthrough.
Well, Chris, we talked about the line here. It was really high. I didn't like it to start. I said right around the penalty spot is exactly what Declan Rice saw. And they never seem to fail us on restarts. It seems once a game we get an opportunity, and they haven't been good the entire match. This is a great ball served in. You see everybody on side here. Gabriel, the first one to it. He's been so dangerous over the years on restarts. Gets in behind the defense. And again, it's Nico Gonzalez with the responsibility on the marking here. Gabriel, just a hand on his shoulder to push him away. Nothing young Oblak can do here. Good header to make it 1-0, but once again, a restart for that man, Mikel Arteta's side, to put them up.
So threatening over free kicks, over dead balls. This is an impossible team to stop in the air. It has not always been the Arsenal identity, but it is now. Good luck stopping them.
Well, Chris, I told you about that matchup in the first half on one of the corner kicks. I didn't like it then, and then I didn't like that high line.
Alvarez, great idea. Giuliano Simeone not getting a clean strike away, but nearly a goal from nothing there for Atletico.
Atletico will get stretched here. Now they're going to have to open up the game. This is a really good ball served in, and Simeone can't wrap his foot around it. You see him going away from goal here. Gabriel down one end with the goal, now making the play at the other end.
Big block in there from the big center back. The ensuing corner from Alvarez. Won this time by Gyökeres in the air. And Barrios sliding out wide. Alvarez tried to flick it beyond Gyökeres. It will be a throw. And it'll go quickly. Giuliano. Neat turn inside. Giuliano Simeone going back the other way. Simeone the This game has come to life. Alvarez bending one in. Luis Skelly, the header, out for another corner.
Well, the side from Madrid's going to have to
Few times in the first half. Alvarez whipping into that near post. Gyökeres again, the contact. Hansko there. Koke. Lifting back in, headed away from Zubimendi. "1-0 to the Arsenal. Sing the support. Barrios trying to catch Raya out of position, but a straightforward catch there for the Arsenal netminder.
Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to catch him off as much as bend it behind the back four, and he gets it wrong, and then almost wrong foots Raya, who recovers nicely. But they are putting a little bit more pressure. See, now Gonzalez higher press. They're able to break it here.
Timber easily found, and off he goes. Wide for Saka. Saka's low delivery, blocked there from Jimenez. Pings around, and Gonzalez has to slide to safety. Free kick as well, awarded.
It's the one thing Atletico doesn't want to get involved in here. It's a track meet up and down the field. I don't think it's the game that they want to see. But they're going to have to open up at some point here to pull themselves back.
And now the changes are being readied for Atletico. Alex Baena, Matteo Ruggeri, Conor Gallagher all getting ready to enter. Will play on before that change occurs. Jimenez going back to Oblak, and now the Arsenal press engaged. Koke. Alvarez coming back deep to play. Carrying so much of the threat for Atleti tonight. Simeone behind. Llorente making a good run. Will send it up towards Sorloth. The header comes in, and it's off target. It was Hansko who made the run forward from left back.
They got your right back here to your left back. As Llorente making a run forward. Great ball served in. Hansko with an opportunity to do something on the attacking end. Just enough pressure from Julian Timber. Simeone with the reaction there, but that's a good opportunity.
And now the changes will occur. Baena, the summer signing from Villarreal for 49 million. Gallagher, who joined last summer from Chelsea in the Premier League, and Ruggeri, another signing this summer, joining from Atalanta for nearly 21 million. Nico Gonzalez will come off for Ruggeri. Gallagher will go into that middle of the park. They're yet to see for whom. We are told it's Koke and Jose Maria Jimenez who also exit.
Leads you to believe that Atleti will go with three in the back here. We've seen this formation throughout the season with Llorente on one side. Conor Gallagher, you see him there tucked in next to Barrios.
Luis Skelly on colliding beyond two, beyond Gallagher. On he goes. Martinelli! Gabriel Martinelli is loving this Champions League. His
Well, Cholo Simeone making 3 substitutions here. Probably didn't get the spacing right just yet. They've just gotten on the field. And Martinelli finds an inch of space. You can see Llorente pinched in the middle of the field. Good switch of play. See how tight it is on that left-hand side. And Luis Skelly, who we saw in the first half in his very comfortable position in the middle of the field, just laying this one off nicely to Martinelli, who opens up the hips, knows exactly what he wants to do. Oblak, a really good effort, but can't get to it. Does get a fingertip to it. Tucks it inside netting. And before we could even see the effects of the 3 changes for Atleti, Arsenal goes up 2-0.
And celebrating there with Gabriel Heinze, his assistant there, Mikel Arteta, with a kiss off the inside of the post from Gabriel Martinelli, but all about the run through the middle there from Miles Lewis Skelly, who is still an incredible story. This time a year ago, he was playing in the Carabao, or rather the EFL Trophy, not even the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup. The EFL Trophy against MK Dons with the Arsenal under-21s. Took advantage of his chance against Monaco in the Champions League. Became a key contributor at left back down the stretch, and now firmly in the rotation, filling in for Calafiori tonight. And with a mazy run through that midfield to set up Martinelli's goal.
And Chris, we did say they didn't want to get into a track meet with Arsenal. It's not what Cholo Simeone came to London to do, was get up and down the field. Now at 2-0, you're going to have to open yourself up. Of course, at some point, goal differential down the road will play into this, but I think you're going to want to get yourself back into the game here. But I go back to just making those subs and really not figuring out positionally all the spacing for the guys that get on the field, a change of formation. Before you know it, you're down 2-0. How about Luis Skelly again, getting to the middle of the field? Timber's done it on the other side the entire match. Just finding pockets of space.
And without being defensively compromised either.
Yeah, because the spacing is right.
Martinelli in from Zubimendi, lifting back in. Eza trying the lifted volley. Comes for Gyökeres! My, did he need that? 9 games without a goal coming in. Victor Gyökeres is on the score sheet. Arsenal dominant in this second half. And 3-0 up over Atletico.
Chris, you said he needed it. I say he deserved it today. He did absolutely everything for over an hour here in this match in hold-up play and pressure all over the field. Everything that you can ask your center forward to do. And he gets rewarded here for his hard work with the goal. This one bounces nicely eventually to him, and he'll be able to spin. You can see the ball played through by Rice. Martinelli, who's had a really good second half here, looking for Eze, who can't steer it on frame, and Gyökeres just trying to get it out from underneath his feet and muscling this one through Hansko's legs here. Hansko with a really tough match today, but Victor Gyökeres, yes, he did need it, and yes, he did deserve it.
What's the expression? Sometimes knee wouldn't go in off your backside. At that time, it went in off Hansko's ankle, but he won't care. Fourth goal in an Arsenal shirt since joining in the summer for Victor Gyökeres. So much conversation about needing a striker, a clinical goal scorer. That's loose, and Oblak will have to get to it. And Gyökeres, who scored 54 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting in 52 games, was thought to be that guy. And if he starts scoring and if he becomes a formidable center forward, this team is going to be difficult to play against. They already are. Martinelli, they want more Arsenal. Gyökeres turning the other way, lovely feet. Will lift it cross in, but easy header away there from Barrios. Does go away for a corner. And the Arsenal fans will enjoy watching their side play another set piece.
Yeah, it's getting sloppy here from the side from Madrid. This guy here, you got to be happy for him. if you're an Arsenal fan, for sure. Just put in all the hard work. We talked about it. You mentioned it. 9 games, both club and country, in a row without a goal. And when you're a goal scorer, you know that eats you alive when you put your head on the pillow at night. And sometimes it just takes one of those moments, right? It doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to find the back of the net. You hope the floodgates open from there.
Great to see the joy in the stadium. Referee asked for the ball to be placed in that spot. Rice's corner, arriving on the back post is Gabriel, and it goes in! Gyökeres at the double! Gabriel involved again! They are unplayable from set pieces! They have been unplayable in this second half! 4-0 Arsenal!
Well, there'll be a shout here for a handball on Gyökeres at the back post, but I don't know how many times we can talk about restarts. They weren't effective in the first half. They certainly have been effective here in the second half for Arsenal. 4-0 as it stands right now. They'll take a look at it in the booth to see if there was a handball, but Gyökeres here, happy to get one, thrilled to get two. Great ball served into the back post. How does Gabriel get open? Is there a pick, as we've seen over the years? He comes from the top of the box here. I believe it's Llorente that loses him, and he's free here. Ruggeri's on the wrong side of Gyökeres as the ball passed them, and absolutely no handball there. And again, it doesn't have to go in with your foot or your head, Chris. A hip, a backside, it doesn't matter. It just needs to end up ahead. End up in the back of the net. That's it. What a performance here in the second half from the Arsenal.
He has been backed by his teammates. He's been backed by his coach. And you even mentioned it, Tony, throughout the game, even when he wasn't scoring, that he was performing well. He was doing everything asked of him. He just didn't have goal-scoring chances, but now he's got a brace. And Antoine Griezmann will come on, as will Thiago Almada, the Argentine, before Arsenal make even a single change. Diego Simeone has used all of his. Gabriel will now exit. A goal and an assist for the center back. Another night at the office. Double change coming here. Christian Mosquera will come in for Gabriel, and Eberechi Eza has not been too involved in these key moments. And it is Ethan Nwaneri who will come in, a teenager, a precocious talent coming out of the Arsenal Academy, who they believe a fair bit in. And Christian Norgard will come in as well for Martin Zubimendi. Zubimendi, who will miss the next Champions League match for Arsenal against Slavia Prague, having picked up a third yellow card in the competition. Arsenal have won every single home game that they've played under Mikel Arteta in Europe in either the group stage or league phase. Now 15 games should they hold on to win this one and take an almighty comeback. Diego Simeone trying to change the game with substitutions, but the game has gone the other way since he started bringing fresh legs on. A chastening defeat as it stands for Atletico. Lewis Skelly heading away for a throw-in. There'll be a lot to answer for after the match. Difficult game at the weekend as well, away at Real Betis for Atletico. Have to pick themselves up off the floor. Challenge in on Gyökeres. Going to be given us a free kick here. Lenormand with a strong challenge in and going to get booked for it.
Yeah, you wonder what some of these substitutions here You're thinking about managing this game and then thinking about managing as well on the weekend.
Arsenal to have their next 2 at home. Will entertain Crystal Palace in the Premier League at the weekend. And then Brighton in the Carabao Cup. It's a loose giveaway there from Timber. And Atleti just looking for any signs of positivity, having just gone through an onslaught down the other end. Griezmann, strong challenge in. Alvarez out wide here for Thiago Almada. Well controlled here by Baena, who's hardly had a touch since coming on. Lifted away from Rice.
Yeah, it's been all Arsenal here in this second half. Well-deserved result. You kind of knew, Chris, right, when had 1-0 and we talked about Atleti trying to get back into this game. They're going to have to open up at some point, and immediately with those substitutions, and I still go back to that before the second goal, just a little unorganized in the back. And the ball that was played to Martinelli from Lewis Skelly, that's kind of in the center of the field, right, and where you think you'd have numbers in this formation.
Martinelli, strong challenge in from Gyökeres just to help the play and finding the good exit ball. This is the week was reading on one of the main Arsenal sites, an opinion piece. This is the season to believe from the Arsenal support. Feeling that sense of positivity off another victory in the Premier League against Fulham. Seeing another defeat from Liverpool as well after they started the season so well. Is this the year that major silverware comes to North London? Could easily be in the Champions League on the evidence of what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, and if he can stay healthy, I think then you start to make a run and go deep in 2 competitions. When you think about Ben White, Nkapie, Calafiori, guys that can help you, and then you think about the injuries they have with Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Madueke, those are short-term. Gabi Jesus is a little bit more long-term, maybe by the end of the year. You start thinking about adding all of those pieces in, because this team is going to go deep. They're going to go deep. They're going to be in it in the end in Premier League, and they'll certainly be in it somewhere in the end in Champions League.
Alvarez in towards Thiago Almada. And a first shot on target of the game. The Champions League debutant, the Argentine, scored his first goal for the club at the weekend in the victory over Osasuna.
Easy save at the near post here for Raya. Thiago Almada going away from goal on his less preferred left foot.
Player moves to Atlanta United from his native Argentina. The record MLS outgoing sale to Eagle football. Played for Botafogo and for Lyon. As Gyökeres judging that bounce. Strong challenge in there from Lenormand. Hansko. Still Arsenal ever aggressive. Their forward press, well played from Sakin towards Timber. And now Waneri. Does start centrally, but loves to go out wide. You mentioned earlier, Tony, about injuries. We saw Bukayo Saka get injured early in the season for Arsenal. We see Odegaard out now. He's dealt with injury really on and off throughout the entire season, and yet they still look good. They've signed for depth in the summer, and now they have the kind of squad, as you say, to compete on multiple fronts.
Yeah, and I think the depth was the piece that was missing. Of course, a true number 9 has been missing. I remember when they signed Zubimende, a year and a half ago, something like that, and everyone said, well, what do we need another central midfielder for? We need a striker. And I think from Mikel Arteta's standpoint, you look at it and go, well, how can I pass up on a player? I know I need a striker, but how do you pass up on a player like Zubimende, right, when you have the opportunity? And they didn't find the striker until this year, and you can only hope as an Arsenal fan, and you're guessing that he will grow into being the guy up top. But the way this team is built, when you got Saka, who you know scores goals, Martinelli, I know he's divided some opinion over the last year or so, year and a half, but still think he's just such a good player, can score goals. You got guys in other areas coming through the midfield. When they get Eze going as well and getting him on a roll, it's a really dangerous side.
Gyökeres going down, another whistle the way of Arsenal.
I'm again, looking at this Arsenal side, I'm trying to think of who the man of the match is, and I just keep staring at that guy there, Gyökeres, for everything he done and the resiliency to keep going and going and going. It gets his first goal. It gets on the end of another one. The work rate has been incredible. Timber has been outstanding. Saka more the first half than the second half. Zubamendi, before he came out, think about how good he was. But I still point, I don't know about you, and there's still 10 or 12 minutes to go here. I still look at Gyökeres right now as the man of the match for Arsenal. Again, another high line. Look at that penalty spot again.
Rice delivering, great air on this one, and the header looked on. Arriving there was Timber. It's going to be given as a free kick, though.
But Hansko that went up again and makes a really good defensive header, but that's the area exactly where Declan Rice is looking, between the penalty spot and the top of the box. It's a lot of space for defenders to run back into.
Ted Lasso and Coach Beard enjoying this one. Jason Sudeikis, Brendan Hunt enjoying their evening at the Emirates. First time in towards the run there of Waneri. And the turn there was Barrios, and it will be a free kick as Martinelli grabbing at his left ankle, feeling he was caught. It was that effort from Alvarez. It gave us still 0-0 at this point, but he struck the woodwork from long distance. If that one bounces off the underside of the crossbar and goes in, we might have had a completely different game.
Well, how quickly these games change, right? It's incredible. Down one end with one thing, and before you know it, you're down 4-0. And they go in all different ways. But again, restarts so prevalent in the way that this Arsenal side goes about getting goals.
Ruggetti's cross deflected away for a corner. A couple more changes being readied. Mikel Merino and Ben White will be the final introductions for Mikel Arteta. And Victor Gyökeres will get the round of applause he deserves for his performance. Crowd here at the Emirates will get behind their striker.
What a moment for Victor Gyökeres here, and a nice job by Mikel Arteta recognizing, just get him off the field now. He's done his work. Mikel Merino, who last year essentially ended up being the striker due to injuries and lack of true strikers, and was very good in the work that he did for the club. We'll go back into that position as it looks right now. Ben White obviously will be a like for like for Timber.
Both teams using their full complement of changes. Into that near post header. Well, one there from Merino. It's a poor header from Barrios, and Martinelli can get running and all the room to attack. Llorente was the last man. Facilitated here from Rice and slipped in towards Saka. Looking for 5. Bukayo Saka interrupted, if only for a moment. Llorente the block in. The Gunners still look a threat, though. Griezmann can hardly have an effect on the game now. So far gone. Ruggetti getting forward. Baena poke towards Conor Gallagher. Here's Conor Gallagher! And it's going to be given as a free kick for a foul in the build-up. Raya made the save to deny the Englishman as well.
Well, Raya wouldn't have known anything about what the call was going to be, or had to be sharp at the near post. There you see the foul with Thiago Almada there with the foul, and again Raya getting good pressure there from his defender to cover the back post. He deals with the near post, pushes it away, but all for nothing.
With this competition now bracketed all the way to the end, finishing higher up in the league phase will in theory produce easier matchups as you go, and the competition obviously will depend on performances from the other big sides, but there is a real impetus to go as high up in the table as possible. And right now Arsenal will be on 9 points from 9, 8 goals for, none conceded. The live table in third. Some other sides putting together some lopsided victories tonight. Catch all the goals, they go in on the Golasso show on Paramount Plus. Ball lifted in towards Conor Gallagher, who again try that volleyed effort. It's off of Saliba and out for the corner. Back out wide here for Thiago Almada. Baena sending that cross and it deflected, and Raya was misjudging the flight of that ball. It went to the back post, it's dealt with only as far though as Hansko. Barrios well stung in towards Griezmann, who controls and fires wide.
As a deflection, as you said, on the cross, and Guarnieri had to be alert at the back post, and then he had to have the wherewithal. You can see spinning. I don't know if it spun in behind the line there, but you can see the deflection and what it caused, this bend on the balls. Baena hits it off of Martinelli, and Raya wasn't even close on that one.
He was appealing that it could have been a goal kick. But
yeah, the one angle we saw looked like it may have gone out, but the assistant referee wouldn't have been, well, he would have been close to the end line, but not exactly on the end line, because he's as deep as the final defender in his positioning.
You see the Atletico support there, less than impressed. Merino, a decent idea towards Hansko. It's difficult to assess at the moment, but Tony, as best you can, what went wrong for Atletico in that 10-minute period?
Well, I think when you play teams like this, and you and I were talking about this prior to the game, right? We were looking at the last couple games, and it's been a little Jekyll and Hyde. I said that in the open, and when you sit so deep against teams like this, and sometimes you want to do that for a period in the game, but this is one of the most talented teams in world football, this Arsenal side, and they've got attacking pieces, and you just keep letting them come forward and come forward. Eventually you feel like the dam is going to break at some point, and that's what I think we saw tonight. And then the other storyline, as simple as it is, and as trite as it might sound, right? Restarts at some point, if they're that good. Okay, they weren't good in the first half, but you know they're gonna come up with something, and you got to deal with restarts. It's part of playing against Arsenal right now. I know there's been some critics. Arsenal players have come out and said, you know, they're killing the game and all of this. Look, it's a way to win a game. And why not be as good as you could possibly be at it?
Ruggeri. They did score twice from set pieces tonight, but it's hardly been the only way.
No,
they scored goals
they've
as
been
well.
dominating. This second half has been complete domination. Yeah, you're going to give up a chance or two on the other end when you throw enough numbers forward, because you're still playing against a really talented Atleti side, but they put their foot on the gas going forward. And now the mission now is over the numbers 8 clean sheets and 11 matches total. Now they're trying to make it 9 and 12. I mean, that's the only mission left right now.
They'll be disappointed to have let up a shot on target. They had gone 2 straight Premier League games without letting up one.
That stat, it was when we chatted about it, it's incredible to me. And tonight there's 1 on target, so I guess 1 in 3 games is not terrible either.
Not bad. Free kick awarded. It's a boot up high there from Mikel Merino, who continues to enjoy international breaks with Spain. 3rd top goal scorer in World Cup qualifying in Europe. 6 goals from 6 games for the Spanish national side. Only Erling Haaland and Memphis of the Netherlands have more. Guarnieri nodding forward and towards Mikel Merino. Challenge from behind there from Barrios. Was that late challenge. For Arsenal, next up in the Champions League, it's away at Slavia Prague. Then they'll entertain Bayern here at the Emirates on matchday 5 before visiting Club Brugge and Inter, and closing it home against Kairat Almaty.
That Bayern match, that will be a fun one. Bayern looks pretty good right now. Vincent Kompany's got him going in a really good way. Harry Kane just doing Harry Kane things.
Immediately control there from Saka into a minimum of 3 minutes. White stumbled as he began his run, so couldn't quite get to it. For Atletico now, 2 defeats from 3 matches, both on visits to England, having lost to Liverpool on the opening day of the competition. 2 home matches coming up against Union Saint-Gilloise and Inter before visiting PSV and Galatasaray, closing at home against Bodo Glimt. Norgard. And Merino sliding back towards Ben White. Mosquera. Seeing this out here. Arsenal. Saka looked to have timed his run well. Cut inside, in towards Merino's first touch, let him down. Almada recovers. Atletico have spent more than $400 million over the last 3 transfer windows to bring players in, bolster the squad, especially from an attacking standpoint. But the question is do you sort of lose the soul of the team? You know the names from down the years. Even Jimenez, who's still on the side, and Koke, and Griezmann. Diego Godin.
You mentioned DePaul a little bit earlier, right, going to Inter Miami. That's, you think about those names, and that's historically over the last 10 years, those are the guys you thought about. You know, when you thought about this Atleti side and Cholo Simeone.
Waneri gliding beyond 2. Still has work to do to keep it. Let's slide it back. Little pop there from White and Norgard. Waneri, awkward bounce, Merino. Waneri's got it back in. Waneri forcing the save there from Oblak in the final minute of stoppage time.
Some frustration there by Martinelli on the left side here as it ends up being an easy save for Jan Oblak. Good height, good spin on the ball, easy for the goalkeeper to pull in. But Martinelli was wide open at the back post. But at 4-0, you're likely not going to see a pass to the back post. You're going to get your look on goal and take a chance.
Lenormand. Hansko started the game at left back and had a bit of a rough go against Bukayo Saka, but that'll just about do it here from the Emirates. Arsenal, a dominant second half performance. Getting the goals from Gabriel and Gabriel Martinelli and a brace from Victor Gyökeres, all in a 13-minute period as it finishes Arsenal 4, Atletico Madrid 0. A dominant performance in this second half. Victor Gyökeres will enjoy ending his goalless run, but it's a perfect 9 points from 9 at the start of this league phase. 8 goals, 3 clean sheets as it finishes Arsenal 4, Atletico 0. Let's go back to the studio and Kate Scott.
Thank you so much. Good to hear from you guys. That was the kind of performance that you were looking for, Thierry. You said you wanted a statement performance.
Yes, I wanted a statement performance and a statement win. Not only performance, because sometimes you can have a good game and just win 1-0. But the score, when people will see that score, they will go like, wow, Atletico got battered. And I'm happy for Miles Lewis Kelly, happy for Gyökeres. But once again, the guy that unlocked the situation is your centre-back. Gabriel once again unlocks the situation. If you look at the amount of goals this guy has scored that were important, the first one, the winner, the equalizer, it's often him that does that for Arsenal. Great finish also from Martinelli, but I wanted Arsenal to be in the same bracket as, you know, the way when you look at Bayern Munich play, when you look at Paris Saint-Germain play, with that win, you can elevate the Arsenal to that rank in terms of can they win the competition. Now, like I said, I've been saying it to a lot of my Arsenal fan friend before. I couldn't say that we could win something before without being an Arsenal man. So as an Arsenal man, I was like, yeah, I hope we can win something. But when you take your heart off of being an Arsenal man, I was like, I don't really see it. With this team, this squad this year, I can clearly see is it going to happen or not. That you can see that that team can win something this year.
You went to the wrong Arsenal game, Clint.
I know. Lots of goals tonight. It was exciting to watch, but I agree with Titi. It was good to see them playing, and what a statement win they did tonight.
What did they do that impressed you?
Getting goals through the run of play. You talked about Martinelli's finish. That reminds me of watching Titi play, how he opens his body, and the great ball that was played to him to be in that position. But yeah, you have to score multiple different ways. They scored again on set pieces. They have it all, and clean sheet again. What is it, 9 games or something like that? It's crazy. It's very impressive.
Yeah, Thierry talked about them in very high terms, obviously putting them alongside Bayern and PSG in terms of kind of favourites for this competition now. Do you see that similarly, Jamie?
Well, right now, at the start of the season to now where we are, well, I don't know what we're in, maybe 12 to 15 games that teams have played. I think Arsenal and Bayern Munich, the two most impressive teams I've seen. What you look at they're doing domestically and what they've done in the Champions League right now. And I think I've said on this show before, I've never had Arsenal down as a club, as a